Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the channel for another technical analysis, really looking at the price and really thinking to ourselves, is this the time to buy LUNC? Before we get into that, don't forget to drop a subscription, don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Those three single things are what really helps us out the most here on YouTube. So on the week, things are looking really good. Lots of opportunities with so little time. These things happen so quickly. A lot of the times you might not check in for a day, the market's bleeding, you check in the next day and things have run up by like 130%, for example. We are seeing a lot of meme coins running, which this is always going to be the case because as much as people hate meme coins, they exist and they're really good at what they do, because building something and shipping something are two totally different things to begin with. And when these meme coins really ship things out in a correct manner, it really does help their situation when these kind of events unfold and play out in the market. Now, there's a lot of people saying, is this one big bear trap? And honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is there's a lot of interest. There's so many things going on right now externally wise to the crypto market, which have an internal effect. It's a very interesting time, especially with the BTC ETFs and all of those different things coming out. So we have been looking on the week here. It is early in the morning. I'm not going to look on the day because anything can happen between now and when I drop my next video. So like I said, there's things going on in the background, and this whole sort of situation playing out with TFL and the SEC and all of these different things, it's going to be a tit for tat where something gets dragged out on one side and something gets dragged out on the other side. And I think we shouldn't take too much interest in this, because realistically, this is all about USTC, which is UST previously. So there's so many questions to answer. There's so many ins and outs and there's so many unknowns that I think we just have to take this as it rolls in. So for me, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with LUNC, and specifically what is playing out on the day chart and what we're possibly seeing is a cup and a handle. The reason why I'm saying this is we've broken up and we're in this area of resistance. Now, we've tried to get out of this previously, that failed, come down, and we're seeing this possible cup playing out. What we now want to see is a very steady coasting, at least for a few more days before we attempt to make the ascension. The reason why I'm paying so much attention to this right now is because there's a lot of people who have been messaging me, lots of people asking me, is this the time when I should get back in? Because a lot of people sold out, and I totally get it. When things become more interesting, people are wondering, do they get back into what they knew, what they understood? And sometimes for a lot of people, that is the starting point of dipping their toe back into crypto. So all we can do is best kind of think as to, is this a good entry point, or are we likely to come back down to this area again of support? And I don't want to see this. And my honest, humble opinion is right now, I'm loading up on LUNC. I'm doing this because I've seen what happens when we can do a 13x run. It's phenomenal, and it happened so quickly. For all intent and purposes, it happened over the matter of like a week before it started cooling off and making its beginning of the ascension coming back down. There's so many interesting things going on our chain with White Whale, with Backbone Labs, and all of the different tools that are being brought forward, that our chain is in a position where it needs to have someone who starts to make these interconnections and starts to communicate with all of the different working parts of the cosmos to try and put LUNC in a position where it can utilize more than just a hammer. Because, and I'm going to stick by this until we have more than just a hammer. You as a user come to this chain and you say, what can we do? And we say to you, stake your coins with a validator. That's about as far as it goes right now. You don't have all of these interesting tools. If you own a LUNC Penguin, you've got lots of these sort of different ways you can go and you can earn rewards, and we've got so much coming, but it's only one project. We need tons of these different projects. And if we can't find these tools being built out in our own sector, then we need to find sectors in the cosmos which support our kind of technology, being SDK. So for me, like I was saying, I'm very hopeful that we're going to see some tracking sideways and then are moving upwards. And I'm loading up. This is my load up point here. I've loaded up down here for a while now. Just dollar cost averaging. That's what I do. It's safe to do this from my point of view. And the best way I look at this is you probably buy a takeaway minimum once a month, or you buy 5 coffees a month. I think to myself what I would spend on 5 coffees, or what I would spend on a pizza or a meal out. I dollar cost average that in once a week, $20. And for me, that's always played out well, because then when we have a run like this, I've got room to sell 50% of that and maybe sit on 50% of it. And as it comes down and it cools for this area of loading up, I can load up even more. So I don't think we need to be worried. The likelihood is we're going to see the MACD cross once more before this handle actually plays out and we do see the ascension moving upwards. For everything that's going on externally, it's going to have a rather strong internal effect moving forward. The fear and greed index is back at greed, and this is what we want to see. When this does get to euphoric, things are going to be flying. And like I was saying about crypto bubbles at the beginning, right? By the time these things happen, it's normally happened so fast. The likelihood is you're buying in a zone of high risk where you decide to yourself you're going to collect up here. You get hesitant, you get worried, you panic, and you think to yourself, I'm just going to ape in here. When realistically, you could wait, see how the market's feeling, look at the different technical factors you can look at, and say to yourself, is maybe this a better area to load up on? And every little helps at this point. The better load up point you get, the more gains you're going to get going upwards. For me, going 100% into something and just going, yeah, throw it all in is not a good idea. And the thing I like about Binance and certain exchanges is they have percent amounts at the bottom where you can simply tap 10% or 5% or 25% of that to go in. And this really, for me, incentivizes people to think, don't go balls deep into things, because when you do, you leave no room to play. Whereas if you loaded up, say, 10% of your bag here, load it up again 10% here, and again 10% here, and again 10% here, you're just catching it as it's falling, right? And then as you ascend back up through these points, you begin to garner more and more percent, and you're not leaving yourself in just one zone where all of a sudden you're panicking and worrying to yourself, well, I've got to get all the way back up to here before I'm even earning a profit relatively. By the time it gets back up there, it could dump, it might not break out. There could be anything that could hit the market right now and simply shatter this momentum that we do have. And there are those silly things out there that can do that. And we can, like I always say to people, you can never know. You can never have a crystal ball as to what's going to play out. For me, this cup and handle is looking very likely if the market can stay positive. If it can stay positive, the likelihood is we're going to track sideways and we're going to move up. And I'm thinking, and this is my own price target, is this 7,600 points per coin range to 8,000 points per coin range. And if we're looking at a downtrend, possibly coming down to this area here. The reason why I'm saying this is we've touched down, and we've come up and we've touched down. This is a good area of support. If we can just stay out of the danger zone for a little while the market cools off, that's good enough for me. I think as a holder of LUNC, you should be prepared for a slight clawback, wait for the MACDs to cross to make decisions, and keep an eye on those dailies. It's so important to understand what's going on externally. Folks, have a really nice Friday. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and I hope this helped you kind of bridge the gap of wondering what is going to go on with the price right now. I'll catch you in the next one.